Shit, this is rare too.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic isn't that significant. It's just a rising and progressing pattern that caught my attention. Not everything said is set in stone as facts. It's my opinion on what I've seen regarding the similarities between Identity and NCT. So, yes, some things may appear suspicious. The check isn't full with the facts. Unfortunately, I am not Mark. Please do your own research and fact-checking if you'd like to know more about some things mentioned in this video. Though, for the first time I did some research of my own. Identity is a 24-member boy group formed by Modhouse. Modhouse is objectively a pretty new company founded by Jaden Zhang. He's mostly known as a producer, most famously working for Luna. He was also a creative director and on Luna's A&R team. Under Modhouse, he's formed groups like Triple S and Artemis. As a company, they've done a pretty good job at innovation in K-pop if you ask me. I must mention, Jaden had worked for NCT before founding Modhouse, quite the coincidence. I believe it probably has played a small role in Jaden's said innovation. Overall though, you've probably already heard of his company. Now to put the innovation in perspective, I'll use Triple S, their first group, as an example. As the label's first group, they had the most experimentation. Triple S is a 24-member girl group. They first blew up for their large amount of members. Before you gaze over it, the most commonly known girl group seen as the largest in history was WJSN, or known as Cosmic Girls, with 13 members. The second group coming close to that is IZ*ONE, which had 12 members. Coincidentally though, the only group with an amount of such high standing is none other than NCT with currently 26. Is the picture coming together? In summary, 24 is a lot. Especially for girl groups which are typically small. But Modhouse didn't stop their creativity there. Triple S is fan-run. Meaning, the fans have become managers, creative directors, and market teams. Fans get to decide, for example, the lineups for each comeback through a voting system. Personally, to me it sounds like the company wants less work. But who I am to judge? The icing on this insane cake is that all of this is done on Discord. Yes, you heard absolutely correct. The gathering place of all streamers, gamers, friend group chats, e-girls, furry fan parties, incels, and even people with unique interest in children. It doesn't sound appealing to me personally, but hey, whatever works. You can yap to your favorite K-pop idol on Discord about that recent Valorant tournament now. It's a whole open group chat between Triple S and their fans. Our wonderful CEO Jaden is in it too. Now, I must say, it shows a lot of personality from Jaden's side. Why in the world would you want your artists to communicate with fans on Discord? Especially knowing how Discord has close to no moderation. If you're like me, and you don't actually use Discord, only heard of it. What you need to understand is, the app is built on freedom for all. You can practically do anything on there. Hence the close to nothing moderation. In recent times, Discord is in a tug and war due to the mass of Roblox predators, having a little fun on their platform. So, why would Jaden decide this was the place to put his artists in direct communication with fans? Fans you have no control of, and without his own private moderation, won't ever get in trouble through Discord's terms of use if they ever crossed the line with artists? Jaden also used to work for JYP at a stage of his career. Maybe he learned self-expression from JY Poppy. That would explain the grand Discord plan. And no, I am not making fun of anyone. Overall, it's interesting at the least. To me, for what it's worth. So, with Modhouse innovation in perspective. After debuting Artemis, they basically put together the male version of Triple S, Identity. Identity is still fairly new and all the members haven't debuted yet. They currently have debuted 15 out of a grand total of 24. So in summary, Jaden's plan is still in the making. Now, you must be wondering what NCT has to do with Identity, if Identity is basically Triple S gender bent. There is a variety of differences between Triple S and Identity, differences that set apart Triple S from NCT. So, NCT has an unlimited member system. Meaning, they can get new members tomorrow and we wouldn't even know. NCT was formed under SM, the group name standing for Neo Culture Technology. Now if you know or remember, NCT had a huge impact at debut due to their concept and group structure. The way Triples got attention for having 24 members was the same hype NCT got at their debut. What made NCT different was that they're split into 8 units, all fully functioning as separate groups. NCT 127, NCT Dream, NCT Wish, NCT U, NCT Dojae Young, Wavy, Super M and EXO. It's a solid structure on paper until you throw in SM's grand plan of constantly rotating lineups. Especially Mark, I've seen him in almost every unit by now. This is something that Jaden probably found interesting too, as Identity is also broken up into units and Triple S changes lineups too. Both features found in NCT. Now Identity has 3 units. Unvermit, Yes We Are, and It's Not Over. I personally prefer NCT unit names over Jaden's fictional fantasy universe, but I'll give him room to cook. Since the group isn't fully functional, it's not yet said whether Identity will switch lineups as well. But I find the similarity to NCT very interesting. So far, only Unvermit and Yes We Are have debuted. I spoke about the units joined song release earlier this month. Overall, just like NCT, Modhouse has tried the changing lineups too through Jaden's cute Discord server. SM decides it themselves, while Jaden threw all the power into fans' hands. But it's nothing to yell plagiarism at. I'm not accusing Jaden of stealing drafted concept documents and market strategies from the SM headquarters. But it is undeniable that he had worked for NCT and now his own groups bear very similar structures. The main difference only being the fan involvement. Now, speaking of fan involvement, it sounds cool in theory but in practice can lead to many long-term issues. He couldn't exactly copy and paste all of NCT's lore, but he was most likely inspired by the 127 squad. As we all know, if you give K-pop fans an inch, they take a mile. If lineups are decided by fans, it's undoubtedly believable that choices will be made through bias and favoritism. If fans decide one member isn't pretty enough, they will vote that member out of every lineup regardless of talent. Do you think fans will seriously view it through a lens of business and genuine musical value? Probably not. If you put fans in the creative boardroom, they probably won't know what's profitable and most effective for the company. And if, let's say Modhouse did use the voting system as a fan opinion rather than final decision, fans most likely will see it as betrayal if their choices don't make the final cut. And you ultimately lose fan loyalty. The choices are fueled solely through emotional response. As SM makes all these decisions alone, despite it seeming like members, such as Haechan or Johnny, especially Mark, get overworked as they get put in many lineups across units. They drive the most profit, and as such, SM is using their assets to do so. After all, they are a company and their artists are their income. You can't exactly lie. When Mark is in the lineup, the songs tend to chart more. So, you may think that if Modhouse lets fans choose, it'll only be popular members. What about outside promotion and branding? If you are a non-fan, and you see the group for the first time, you hear about all these members but you never see all of them. Why keep the other members? If the members don't actually bring in money, or even worse, are never a part of group activities, they become a company's liability rather an asset. That is the sad reality. Companies learn to balance their assets, in this case, their idols. But fans wouldn't think the same way. And in the scenario that they lose interest in a member, or scandals break out, the entire group falls apart because it was built on bias and superficial love. Where the members that would have benefited the group more were brushed off long time ago. And fans don't know the real capabilities of the members. So, there could also in some cases, where members will need to fill roles they weren't trained for, which causes instability, and no investor likes instability and imbalance. In situations where the company would need to take control, fans would feel entitled to be involved due to the parasocial dynamic that was built between the fans and groups. Especially with such direct and almost domestic communication through Discord. If decisions are suddenly made by the company, the fans will feel betrayed, like their power and ego was stripped away and attacked. That's why SM choosing to have full control over NCT was the smarter business move. They can sell empty promises and keep their business private, and fans won't feel the need to overstep to know everything because they are aware of their position as consumers. Fan loyalty is kept without giving out that stolen mile to every single fan available. So, Jaden is getting a little risky with his game plan in blunt honesty. He might be placing just a little too much faith in the fans not to abuse their power and even potentially harm his artists. Another risk, with having many members, it's difficult to screen check every single member's childhood and past, in the case that they hold bad reputations or negative online footprints that can damage the group's image. We've already seen this, as Identity has already faced 2 bullying scandals, all in the same month. The second scandal involves a member that hasn't even debuted yet. That's lovely. Other obvious downsides are higher costs. For example, bigger dorms, more stylists and makeup teams, and higher travel costs for tours and other business trips. Back on the initial point, Madhouse isn't as unique with Identity as they thought. It feels like NCT rebranded with way too many additional risks. Having an insanely large group is not the flex they thought it was. Especially when you have so many loopholes and potential risks. It looks less than a flex, and more like a suicidal attempt as a company. Again, I am not accusing them of stealing NCT's concept. What I am saying is, innovation means to be different. Introducing some new things. It is no longer innovation when it looks like you stole your friend's slideshow for a school presentation and you only changed the font. And honestly, it's slightly disappointing watching, knowing that NCT is looking like a free-to-use PDF document. Identity is currently off to a rough start. And as I was researching this, I noticed some similarities in Triple S too. I guess those went unnoticed during the debut hype. Well, this is the end of the long journey to NCT's used file format in Jaden's fanfiction. This ended as a pretty long video. I hope you enjoyed, and remember to share your thoughts in the comments.